In a distant world where powerful alien beings and advanced technologies exist, something unexpected happened. A brutal cosmic war spread across distant galaxies, and everything seemed to be in favor of those advanced alien creatures, until humans arrived. At first, humans appeared as weak enemies, military evolution far behind the others. But soon, the tide turned, and everyone started to wonder, how did they defeat these beings? Today, in this dark space bar, an old warrior tells the story that changed everything. A tale of how humans turned war into an art, how they shocked everyone with their unconventional methods, and even some alien creatures still tremble in fear at the mention of their names. Did you think humans were just primitive creatures? Did you think their traditional weapons and ordinary minds were insufficient? If you thought so, this story might change your opinion forever. The darkness filled the space bar, the faint sounds echoing as if they came from the depths of space itself. Alien beings of various colors and sizes filled the room, some moaning in defeat, others telling tales of ancient victories. In one dark corner, the old alien warrior sat, gazing at the stars through the window, his eyes reflecting years of wars and battles. His trembling hand held a large cup of his favorite space drink. A young journalist approached him, holding a small recording device. Since she first heard about that legendary war between aliens and humans, she had wanted to know more. Everyone was talking about that war that resulted in a crushing defeat for them, but no one wanted to discuss it. They feared mentioning those memories, but the journalist was filled with curiosity and wanted to know the truth. "Can I ask you about the war?" the journalist said as she sat next to him at the table. "Why did we lose? Why was the defeat so severe?" The old warrior looked at her slowly, his eyes full of sorrow. "You want to know why we lost?" he said in a low voice, then drank from his cup, his eyes reflecting the distant sky. "You don't know humans, do you? If you knew them, you wouldn't be asking this question." The journalist was eager to hear more. "We've heard a lot about them, but we don't understand why we lost. I think we had the best weapons and tactics, so how could we lose?" The warrior took a deep breath, then began his story. "Let's start from the beginning. We thought the war with humans would be easy. They were at such an early stage of their military development. They had some advanced weapons, but they were nothing compared to what we had. We thought we would win quickly, but we made a huge mistake." The warrior paused for a moment and took a sip from his cup. "In our first confrontation with them, we were fully prepared. Our forces were deployed in complex formations. Everything was calculated. We thought we understood war completely. But when the attack began, we discovered something very strange. Humans were completely different. The first thing they did was ignore everything we considered basic in war. They didn't follow the rules we set. They twisted the concept of battle entirely." "What do you mean by that?" the journalist asked, trying to understand what he was saying. "At first, we used our advanced weapons, smart bombs, energy weapons, heavy munitions. The humans, on the other hand, started using very primitive things. Rocks, for example," the warrior said, smiling sarcastically. "Yes, rocks. But they didn't throw regular rocks at us. They hurled massive metal pieces from space, specifically tungsten rods, and launched them from their spaceships. The rocks were destroying our ships as if they were fire projectiles." "But why?" the journalist said, astonished. "Why would they use such primitive methods?" "Humans don't think like us. We believe technology is the only solution, but they believe creativity is the key. Instead of using weapons we consider effective, they invented new ways to destroy us. The trick was that every time they figured out how we operate, how we think, they would develop new methods faster. They thought of war as a challenge." The warrior winked. "At first, we thought they didn't know how to fight, but over time, we realized they were simply fighting with a different mindset. The human mindset means they don't fight just to fight. They fight because they love the challenge. To them, the battle was a puzzle, and they were solving it in every possible way." The journalist felt like she was beginning to understand something about the war against humans. But as the war progressed, weren't we superior to them in weapons? Yes, at first we were superior in technology, but humans dealt with technology differently. They didn't consider advanced weapons to always be the best. They used everything: chemical weapons, biological weapons, even psychological weapons. They studied us carefully. They knew how we operate, how we think. They planted doubts and fear among us. The warrior sighed. It got to the point where some of our soldiers started to believe that humans could smell fear. They began to think that if they surrendered, they would die faster, and that was part of their psychological warfare. But that sounds ridiculous, the journalist said, unable to believe what she was hearing. How could that be true? But they made it real. It was one of the best psychological tactics they used against us. They would reinforce rumors and support them by every means. And of course, we lost many of our soldiers because of this psychological war, the warrior said bitterly. But we still had the advantage, right? We have a superior fleet, the journalist said, trying to defend their position. No, because humans don't fight the way we think they do. In the last battle, we had a massive fleet. They were cornered. Everything was in our favor. We were ready to pounce on them. But humans, they were thinking of something else. The warrior said, smiling sadly. In that battle, they blew up their space stations because they knew that the chaos would disrupt our electronic systems completely. Then, while we were regrouping, they launched teams in their small ships. They fought in space in their suits, boarding our ships with primitive tools like thermal cutting machines. How could that be effective? The journalist said, stunned. Because they don't care about complex technology like we do. They know how to use simple things in innovative ways. At that moment, we began to realize we weren't facing a military war. We were facing a mental war. They were treating the war as an art, and every battle was a new canvas they were painting, the warrior said, his voice filled with pain. So why did we lose? The journalist asked softly, trying to absorb everything he had said. Because we fought them as enemies, but they fought us as artists. They turned war into a game, into art, into a challenge, and we simply weren't prepared for that. They had something we couldn't understand, the constant drive to innovate, to learn more about us, and to destroy us in unconventional ways. To them, war was more than just a mission. It was a way to solve the greatest puzzle, the warrior said, standing up from his seat, walking away, leaving the journalist to reflect on all that he had said. As the old alien warrior finished speaking, he looked at the journalist with a sad smile, then walked slowly into the darkness. His words echoed in her mind, like the reverberations of a cosmic battle that had not yet ended. The journalist began to feel the depth of the truth he had revealed to her. Humans were not just weak enemies. They were beings who mastered the arts of deception and creativity in war, capable of defeating the strongest armies simply by thinking differently. War isn't just about strength. It's about the mind, about creativity, and about the determination to survive. She recalled the warrior's words, her eyes widening with every new idea forming in her mind. From that moment on, she realized that humans didn't fight just to survive. They fought to challenge the impossible. Now, after the warrior had left, the journalist remained in confusion and awe, her heart beating with deep admiration and respect for this human race that seemed to never give up. Perhaps she herself had begun to wonder, what if we were in their place? Would we have the same ability to overcome adversity and innovate in the face of the impossible? In the end, this wasn't just a story about a war between aliens and humans, but a profound lesson about the true power that lies in mental superiority, in the ability to think outside the box, and in the indomitable human spirit. Despite all their challenges, humans would always be able to make a difference, even in the most brutal cosmic wars. The war may have ended, but the truth it left behind will continue to haunt anyone who thinks about power, about the meaning of challenge, and about the secret of success.